Okay, so Thursday, September 14th, this was Nintendo Direct Day. I woke up as the Direct was in progress. I woke up at probably like 9:30, so I was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull it up, fast forward, not all the way to the beginning because there's like a solid hour or so where it's live and nothing's happening. I was like, all right, let me just go back, like watch it so I can watch everything completely unspoiled. I don't want to go ahead and watch the end to get super hyped and then watch other shit. Let me build up to whatever the ending is. Now, as it was going on, I did get a few updates about things. I was specifically, Clay was like, "Hey, I see a new figure that you're probably gonna get." So I'm like, "Okay." My guess is it's probably the Sora amiibo did get confirmed because I know that was like a big thing going on for a while. He specifically joked about a new Funky mode. It's like, okay, Funky Kong then is probably in Mario Kart Deluxe. Or I think he even said he's like Mario Kart now has a Funky mode. So I'm like, cool, that happened. When it came to the ending, he did not say what happened at the end of the direct. He just went, "Oh, holy shit!" And there was a point also where I got a Discord notification of someone going, like, posting a link to a Twitter thing from Nintendo of America going, "Let's fucking go!" So I was like, okay. And it did not say what game or announcement it was. I was like, okay, whatever's at the end is big. Whatever it is fucking hype. So I had three theories about what it might be. Number one, new Smash Bros. Because of course I thought maybe new Smash Bros. And I even admitted it's probably not new Smash. Uh I'll talk about Smash a little bit later when I get to like the Sora amiibo, like why I was like maybe this could be, maybe it won't be, but I was like, okay, there's always a possibility. There's maybe a non-zero chance, but I kind of doubt it. Number two would be a new Switch console, or like whatever the new console is, the Switch 2, the Switch Deluxe. Maybe it's not a Switch like at all, but whatever the new console is, like okay, there's probably going to be a direct in November because that's been the cycle the last few years: February, June, September, November. That's probably when they'll show off the new console, unless it's like the Tokyo Game Show. But I feel like they'd probably save it for a direct, probably the November direct, especially if it is coming out kind of like the Switch did, like early next year, like February or March. Talk about it now, which I don't know, maybe they'd want like a whole nother year to talk about it. Maybe it will come out holiday of like 2025 or 2024, excuse me. I was getting my years mixed up for a second. I was like, I think they'll save it for November, but maybe they do. The other thing is Prime 4. Prime 4 is still a really fucking big title. And apparently the rumor mill is saying that's like it can be shown off. Like there's enough to show off. It looks good enough to show off. But no one was really like, we think it's going to happen. It was just more of a, it can be, we'll see. It's like, all right, these are my big three contenders going into the end of the direct. But the direct started with Splatoon 3. And like as soon as it started, I was like, is this Splatoon Nier Automata? Because this just looks like the White City from Nier Automata. Huh. And it's like, oh yeah, I can kind of forget because I still haven't played through a Splatoon game. And I really want to because it just looks like a ton of fun. But Splatoon is this post-apocalyptic society with a really fucked up lore and backstory, so I feel like it's something I would really like, both in terms of its world building and its gameplay. Because the tiny bit I had played at Splatoon 1, I was like, this is fun as fuck. But it was just like, oh yeah, that's a fun reminder of what the series actually is. But like, it looks cool. I'm sure Splatoon fans are probably pretty happy. Oh, I should probably say, I don't know if I said this earlier, I'm not going to go through every single direct announcement. Either stuff that like specifically to me was like, oh, that's kind of cool, like the way Splatoon is, or if it's something like that's a pretty notable like release or announcement, also kind of like Splatoon is, whether it's like a big third party game, a big first party title, stuff like that. After that, Mario versus DK. So this is really important because if you follow a lot of Nintendo leaks and rumors, you're probably aware of who Pyoro is, or I guess no one knows who Pyoro is. But a person on Twitter essentially being like the new leaker, the new person who I don't think this was like their first rodeo. they're known to have a flawless track record. Like, whenever Pyoro says something, it ends up being true. Whoever they are, our masked penguin hero, or villain if you really hate leaks, which I understand if you do. I don't, but I get it. Pyoro had tweeted an image, or not an image, it was a gif of Donkey Kong from the Donkey Kong movie, or the Donkey Kong movie, from the Mario movie, but the scene where he's fighting Mario, and like his entrance, like he's rolling in and shit, to which people went, oh shit, he's teasing a new, or she, we don't know, but it's like Pyoro is teasing a new DK game. Fuck yeah. And as someone who had just been playing Tropical Freeze with my friend, I was like, fuck, that sounds really fun. We're gonna get a new DKC. Could they remake the original trilogy and release that? Like, how? It's not a game that needs a remake, certainly not. I'm like, huh. What kind of crazy shit, though, could they do if they remade, like, DKC 1 or 2? Huh. Like, I was there to get, like, really fucking excited. It's like, I know there was rumors, like, a few years ago that the new DK game might be a collectathon, I guess in a way kind of like 64, but in the style of Mario Odyssey, and like, that sounds kind of cool. Is that finally happening? And then it seemed like people were kind of coming up being like, yeah, there's going to be a new DK. I've been saying there's a new DK, and then Pyoro made another comment saying, you see him, but you're not asking about who he's fighting, with the implication being, this is not a new Donkey Kong Country, it's a new Mario versus DK. Which he also kind of, or she, again, I don't know. But Pyoro confirmed later, like, yeah, it is a Mario DK game. And that's exactly what happened. So anyone that had said, yeah, it's a new DK, listen to me, I know what I'm talking about. Well, you're technically right. It is DK, but it's not the DK you were insinuating. Okay, interesting shit. But the actual game itself looks pretty fun. I've played Donkey Kong on the Game Boy, like the OG, like I had it on like a fucking Game Boy Pocket, and I think it's a ton of fun. I'm like, oh, this gameplay takes me back to when I was like 7. Holy shit. Am I gonna get it? I don't know, maybe not necessarily, but it is something that appeals to me. I had to bring it up. They showed off Prince of Persia. I don't know if this is a new game. I don't know if it's a remaster. Like, I've never played Prince of Persia. It always looked kind of cool, but I've never gotten into it before. But it feels like a relatively notable third party. What company is it? I want to say it's Sega. I'm not sure. Is it Konami? I really don't fucking know who makes Prince of Persia. I might check that and like add it in the description after. It's like, yeah, this bothered me. I wanted to know, but okay. Yeah, sorry. I just felt like I should bring it up that there's going to be a new one. There's going to be a Spy Family game on the Switch where it looks like you play as Anya and you just go around and like have nice times with your family and at school and like take pictures for like your scrapbook and shit. I'm like, this is kind of precious. I gotta shout out the Spy Family game. The Mario RPG make. So they showed a little bit more of that. They showed that there is going to be some new content. I don't know if the like group special moves was in the original game. I've never played the original game. That sounded different, but I'm not 100 on that, but it looks pretty cool. There's post-game bosses. Like, you can refight bosses, but they're going to be a lot stronger. From what I understand, they said, like, this was not in the original game. That's always something I think is really cool. I love the ability to refight bosses. Shout out the fucking data fights in Kingdom Hearts 2. Hate those fights. Love those fights at the exact same time. I definitely love them more than I hate them, except Vexen and Zexion. Fuck Vexen. Fuck Zex. The data fights are so fucking fun, though. Trace Memory. So this is another Pyoro leak where they had said there's a DS game and a Wii game that's gonna get... I don't remember if they had said, like, re-released or remade, but they said, like, they're expect something of that. Someone had asked, are they connected? And they had said, yes, they are connected. And it seemed that going into the Direct, this was the big theory, that it's going to be Trace Memories. There's one on the DS, one on the Wii, and that's exactly what happened. I had never heard of them before. I don't know if they're like, yeah, it's one of those like hidden gems, or if it's actually something that's pretty well known and pretty well liked. Who knows? But at least for the because of the leak history of it, I felt like I had to bring it up. Like that's another one correct. And speaking of which, Pyoro had also referred to the Princess Peach game as Princess Peach Showtime. I think a couple other people had as well, and that is the name of the game. This game looks fun. This game looks pretty cool. I'm digging it. So the premise, as they said, is like you play as Peach. She goes to attend a play. The play gets hijacked, and so she ends up going into the play to take it back from, what are they called? Like the Fruit Gang or like the Grape Bunch or some shit. But you go fight fruit people, I guess. And she has this like magical ribbon that she uses and twirls around and hits people with it, and then she can also use its power to transform, and the transformation depends on the kind of play you're in, because like every world or every level is going to be a play. And you've got, they showed a sword fighting Peach, a kung fu fighting Peach, a detective Peach, and a like pastry chef, pastier, is that how you pronounce that? But like a pastry chef Peach. I know there was, shout out to my guy Papagenos, he had said something about a ninja Peach. I don't know if that was something like he had heard or if it was just kind of as a meme, but fuck, there might end up being a ninja Peach. They even said, they're like, yeah, there's gonna be there's gonna be more transformations besides what we just showed off today. It looks pretty cool though. And it also kind of gives me the sense that, yeah, every world is gonna feel very different. Like the sword fighting one, okay, this is gonna be a more kind of hack and slash fun thing. The detective one sounds like it's gonna almost be more like a VN, like you're kind of just putting a mystery together, finding clues to solve a mystery, rather than a lot of combat. The pastry chef one sounds like it might be very more mini game heavy. That could be really interesting. It's like, yeah, the game is going to be almost kind of very dynamic, and I'm kind of looking forward to play. Not even kind of, like, this looks fun. I might really play it when it comes out. Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider trilogy, I never knew how many games there were, is getting a collection, is getting a remaster, and I always love it when remasters, like, yeah, you can switch between the old look or the original. You could switch between the old and the original. That's the same fucking thing, you idiot. You could switch between the new look and the old look. I also like it when you can do that with soundtracks. I know you can do that in Xenoblade, which I'm going to be honest, when I played the Xenoblade remake, I really didn't care for the new soundtrack that much. I wasn't like, wow, this is ass. But I was like, this is almost every song to me was like, this just does not sound as good. You kind of nailed it the first time. But I always love that is an option. And I mean, I don't really know much about Tomb Raider. I don't know how fun they are to play. The only thing I know about Tomb Raider, aside from like the movie that I watched, is everyone likes Lara Croft because she has big polygon boobs. That's kind of what I know Tomb Raider for. I don't know how, like I said, I don't really know how good they are, how fun they are to play. It's not something I'm going to be tripping over myself to pick up. But maybe I can be convinced to do so, because maybe it is like, no, these games are actually really, really good. So, I mean, I guess it's cool that they're coming back, and if people really like them, I hope they pick them up. Detective Pikachu, too, like, it's a new Pokemon thing, I have to shout it out. I don't think it's something I'm going to be picking up. Again, maybe if enough people are like, dude, this game is really fucking good, like, it's really funny, it has, like, a really good story, I could be convinced to pick it up. But it's not, I'm not really feeling like I gotta go get it. I had to shout out Trombone Champ. It's a rhythm game where you play a trombone, and then just watching it, I was like, this ain't it, Chief. For me personally, it's like, I not like I hate the sound of the trombone or anything, but just like listening to it in the trailer is like, this sounds really unappealing to me. I hope the game does well. I hope there are people who are like, this actually looks like a ton of fun, and they enjoy it. But just for me, I was like, this was like the one thing in the direct where I was like, I don't like this. I have to bring this up. There's a reimagining of Contra. Again, I know who made this one. This is Konami, because the Konami code, up, down, down, left, right, etc., etc. Um, that's cool, I guess. I don't know how cool that is. I know, this is a very OG classic game. Cool. It's nothing I've ever really played. That's why I'm not as excited for it. Next thing they had showed, I think it was called Unicorn Overlord. It looks like a Fire Emblem game, which also makes me realize, yeah, they never showed off Fire Emblem 4 remake, because that's another thing that's been talked about for a while. Because I remember Engage had leaked a year before, maybe even longer, before it was announced or came out. And because we had seen Alir's hair, the weird Pepsi shit, we had seen the Somnial, and they're like, yeah, this is how the game fucking works. And go, explained the Engage system. And people were like, this sounds fake as fuck. Apparently, I think that person had a good track record of leaking shit. They're like, this looks and sounds fake as fuck. What the hell? And, everything ended up being correct. They had also said, I think they had said, this game has been done for a year, and they just haven't said anything about it. We don't know why. They're also working on Fire Emblem 4. They are bringing Genealogy of the Holy War back. And I think, other people had corroborated that. I also noticed while playing Engage, of all the lords, 2 of them seem to have a lot of focus. Marth, because, yeah, it's Marth. This is the original Fire Emblem character. He started not 1, not 3, but 2 Fire Emblem games. You almost say 2.5, given the way Lucina's written for a chunk of Awakening. It's oh, this is Marth coming back. This was the guy that was in Smash. So is Roy. Roy's our boy. But, this is what you think of when you think of a Fire Emblem character. You either think of, probably the game you played, where it's you played an Ike game, you played Awakening or some shit, but you generally think of Marth. That makes a lot of sense. The other character to get a lot of focus was Sigurd. They were, really hyping up this dude. It's oh, yeah, this is one of, the big rings. This is one of the really powerful rings and stuff like that. And one thing I remember reading somewhere was, I don't know if this was intentional or not, but most of the emblems you get in the beginning of the game are, the kind of the older games. You get, my brain turned off for a second. Marth, Sigurd, Leaf. Micaiah's kind of somewhere in the middle. Fuck, who are the ones you get at the beginning? That's 3 of them. You don't get Lyn till later. You don't get Lucina till later. You don't get Ike until later. Corrin is later. Is Corrin later? Yeah, Corrin's later. Celica. Celica is an early one. That's Fire Emblem 2. I am blinking. Roy is also one of your first half games, or one of your first half emblems. There's someone I'm forgetting, and it's bothering me, but I'm gonna move on. But my point is, I remember reading a comment about how it's yeah, the early games are most of the early rings. I think they even kind of said, the one exception to that is Micaiah, which is notable because of how poorly that game sold and how it was kind of the death of the series. And, it was on its last legs until some of these other games happened. What are the ones to bail you out? Lyn, which was the first one released in America that people seem to really like, and Lucina, because Awakening was the game that saved the franchise. I know that's a very controversial take in terms of, yeah, Awakening did some things that a lot of longtime fans don't care for, that have kind of become standard, a lot the strong emphasis on romance and such, and waifuizing, which understandable. But it is the game in terms of sales that saved the franchise, because from what I understand, it was, you guys get one more game and this is it. And that was Awakening. They're if this is it, we're gonna do everything. We're gonna make sure we got a Fell Dragon, because that's classic Fire Emblem. We're gonna do something with Marth the Hero King. We're gonna have like the pair up system and like romances and the kid and the child units from Genealogy, because that was a game that we fucking loved. We're gonna try to really make this like an all-star Fire Emblem in terms of like parts of its story and also its mechanics. And it worked, and people loved it. It's like, what do you know? The two units that, like, the two emblems that bail you out are that one and Lynn, the first one to come to the States. Like, that is actually really cool when you think about it that way. Like, I like that a lot. But I say that because, like, yeah, it seems like Genealogy is going to get a remake. It just still hasn't been announced, so I don't know when. Maybe in November is when they'll announce it. Maybe in February. I don't fucking know, but I guess it's coming soon-ish. Oh, right. I was talking about that because the unicorn game, because it just fucking looks like Fire Emblem. And the more I was watching, I was like, I don't have a Fire Emblem itch at the moment. And when I do, I'll probably try to go back to Radiant Dawn, or excuse me, Path of Radiance, to get it scratched, because I do want to finish it at some point. But this looks kind of dope. This looks kind of cool. I'm not like, man, I gotta play this, but like, this is kind of doing it for me. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is going from the 3DS to the Switch. I know they had announced that before, which I guess would make all three Luigi's Mansions on the Switch. That's pretty nice. The Nintendo Museum, that just sounds cool. That sounds like something I would like to visit at some point. I don't think they showed anything from the museum specifically, except like the roof is a fucking question block, which I love. But yeah, like that just seems kind of cool. So then we get into the amiibos, where they said like they showed off 5 new amiibos. Well, I guess not necessarily new, because like we'd seen Zelda and Ganon before. Noah and Mio had already been announced, and the Sora amiibo. So yeah, when Clay was like, "Hey, a figure you might like. This is probably the next figure you're gonna get." He was talking about the Sora amiibo, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't think I've gotten a single amiibo, but Sora's my guy, so yeah, that's kind of tempting." But this is when the Smash thing was starting to come, and I was like, okay. My understanding is that Ultimate, as it currently stands, does not have data for a Sora amiibo in the game. So, they will have to update it to put that information in. And I was like, okay. For all I know, like, I see this going one of 3 ways. Way number 1, they update the game, put in the Sora amiibo data, and that's literally it. It's like, yeah, we're not doing any more balancing. We're not doing any more characters. When we said we were done, we meant it. We're done. This is just one kind of like quick thing we have to fix. Okay. Thing number 2 is like, well, since we're already here, maybe a little bit of balancing shit, because we can, blah, 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 blah. Now we're done forever. Or thing number 3. Well, since we're already here, let's add some more shit. I remember while we were in Fighter Pass 1, like before Fighter Pass 2 had even been announced, I remember thinking to myself, this is how I predict this is going to go. We're going to get a Fighter Pass 1, we're going to get a Fighter Pass 2, and then the game is going to go dark for about like a year and a half, 2 years or so. Like, cool. You made us a great base game, gave us a lot of characters. Sakurai, take your break. Then after about that year and a half, 2 years, Nintendo's going to be like, okay, can you give us more? It's like, all right, like we wanted to give you your break. You got it. We hope you're recharged because we want you to give us more characters now. Whether that is because like a new console, so we're going to re-release the game, but we can do another Fighters Pass or maybe put some more characters in the base game of it. Or if it's just, we want to keep support, instead of just making a new Smash, let's just keep supporting Ultimate. Maybe both happen, I don't know. Okay, like, I don't think they would make a new Smash Bros. And then also like, so this is the new kind of Smash, but let's keep supporting Ultimate. It's, once Ultimate is dead, whether it is officially 1000% dead or they are going to support it later, I don't know. Of course, the current thing is, it is finished. There's that part of me that goes, maybe we are going to get one more. And maybe it is just with the new console, maybe not, I'm not sure. But maybe we are going to get that one more round. I know there was a conspiracy theory that since Noah and Mio are getting amiibos, and it is 1000% normal for Nintendo for like fucking Switch characters. I guess I can't even say Switch because it's just over the Wii U. But for Nintendo characters to now be getting amiibo that work with their games. Does not have to be a Smash Bros. Thing. But there was kind of a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is done. Doesn't seem like they're going to be doing any more things. It's kind of weird for the amiibos to come out now. Unless they're Smash amiibos, because Noah and Mio are going to be in the next version of Ultimate. And who knows? It's like, I remember that. I was like, okay, do I really subscribe to that? No, this feels like I've got the fucking gum fruit and I am stretching to fucking grasp at straws. But it would be kind of cool. And it's like, all right, they're not coming out till January. So there's a possibility. I'm not going to say it's a good one, but there's a possibility that in November they can say, like, all right, new console, this is when it's coming. This is what we're doing with Smash. Noah and Mio are going to be in it. Which would be kind of weird if, like, their amiibos came out before the characters did. I mean, I guess they could shadow drop a character, but, like, holy shit. That would be so insanely under wraps, like, the fact that has not come out. It seems like there's rumors that, like, there might be something going on with Smash, and it might literally have just been the Sora amiibo. But, I mean, even there were some things, like, I remember Cloud kind of came out of nowhere. It seemed like a couple of people that knew about it, but he really came out of nowhere. It's not impossible, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not betting on it. I'm like, I think the Noah and Mio thing is just like, this is just for Xenoblade. Maybe there's a little bit of Smash in there just in case, but I kind of doubt it. I'm hopeful, but I doubt it. But this was kind of around the point in the director. I was like, okay. We got the Sora amiibo now, so there's this Noah and Mio conspiracy. Maybe it is going to end with Smash. Maybe we are going to get a Noah and Mio trailer. And then it's like, instead of like the flame clock in their eyes, it's the fucking Smash logo. Like, all right. After that, it was F099, which is something else that Pyro like kind of hinted at. They're like, okay, that's another notch in their fucking cap. A new WarioWare game, WarioWare Move It, which I know Jose fucking loves WarioWare. My buddy Wyatt really loves WarioWare, so one of them, maybe both of them, are going to end up picking it up. I think it's called like Euden Chronicles, like a new RPG. It stuck out to me a little bit. I was like, this could be like something I'd really get into. Like, it looks like it might have a pretty solid story. Mario Kart, they talked about the new wave. I don't remember what the track was. Oh my god, why are you like this? Sorry, I just had a phone call and I had to stop the phone call because I think it stopped the video. That was kind of annoying. I'll take it in a sec. New track, it was like a Princess Daisy thing. I'm not super familiar. I don't play a lot of Mario Kart. They showed 3 characters, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, so there is a Funky mode, and Peachette. Oh, no, sorry, it's 4 characters, Pauline and Peachette. So, Mario Kart fans are eating cud. After that, they're like, okay, now we're going to take a second to just kind of recap all the games coming out from now until, like, early next year. They showed, like, Pokemon shit, like, the Pokemon DLC, Detective Pikachu, Mario Wonder, Princess Peach Showtime, etc. So just a whole bunch of stuff. And that's when my brain was like, huh. Maybe they are about to show the new console. Maybe they're not going to save it till November. It's like, all right, like, let's recap. Here's all the stuff that's coming out from the end of the year to, like, early next year. Cool, you got that. Now let me show you what's happening after. It's like, this is it for the Switch. Now let's go into the next thing. I was like, oh, that could actually happen. I'm kind of excited for that. Let's go. And hey, maybe when they do, maybe they'll bring up that Prime 4 as a fucking launch title for it. I don't know, because like we still haven't seen Prime 4. There's still a chance that that's what they show at the end of the direct. Like, here you go. It's showable. It's coming. Blah, 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 blah. And then I got to that final announcement. It was not Smash. It was not a new console. It was not Metroid. It was a book with a power star on it. Opens up. My reaction was just like my jaw was on the ground when I saw Thousand Year Door. I love this game. I love this game so fucking much. Being able to get it and not have to pay like $200 because the GameCube market is fucked sounds wonderful. I was just so fucking happy to fucking see this game. I was like, okay, I gotta make sure I replay Thousand Year Door when this shit comes out, man. I'm so excited for this. I was like, yeah, the fact that it was something that was getting hyped up throughout the direct, we're like, holy shit, someone was like, let's fucking go. For me, this is 100% an announcement that lives up to this. This is something that's super hype. The fact that I was like, okay, Smash, it's probably not going to happen, but maybe the new console, Prime 4, which like I'm not a Metroid guy, so like Prime 4 to me is not something that's exciting for me, but I know it's exciting for other people. The fact that I was like, it's one of these three, and it was none of them, and still got me really excited. You're like, that's awesome. That's how you fucking end a direct. Let's go. So, overall, I liked the direct. There's a lot of just kind of shit here and there. I'm like, that's really cool. That's really cool. That's really cool. Excuse me. With a fantastic ending. So, I'm about to go record my room talk video, which I'll like briefly mention that, yeah, there was a direct I watched and I made a thing. And, I'll see you later. Have a good day.